Hello. I want to share some information concerning corruption here in Florida. I'm not making any accusations towards these officers because I don't know if there's a police chief which may be able to edit these files. But on May 15th, I went to the local police department in the community where I live at, and it's the same address I've had since I've lived in Florida. Here is the police report. It says right here, wants to speak to officer, doesn't want to say much except he thinks he's being targeted, wouldn't give me address. Well, I didn't want to give them my address because I had been there before in 2000, and my report was only one sentence. So I recorded the entire conversation at the police department, and it even shows me handing my phone over to him and presenting this tag, DHSJ22. I have recorded in the past in a very rural area where I live at, me biking, people flicking me off, throwing trash towards me, honking horns. And then when I later see these people in the community, they tell me that they don't even know who I am. Then I'm asking them, why are they honking horns and doing all this stuff? They don't say anything. So I find this really weird, and I've talked to people which are lifelong residents here, and they told me they don't ever experience that. They may experience every blue moon someone honking a horn if it's a friend, but never just random people back to back. And harassment, which I've experienced one time here in the front residential area where I live at, there's a group of people wearing blue shirts, and they're all veterans. And I have proof, I know where they live. One's even a conservative. I think he would talk if reporters would talk to him, but I'm not gonna talk to him. He told me they're part of Neighborhood Watch. But police in this area are stating that they don't have a Neighborhood Watch program. So these people must be doing it independently, but I was being mobbed. And according to them, they were concerned for their children's safety. So I'm hoping that a news reporter may want to talk to them so we can find out what type of rumors or slander is being spreaded, because I've experienced this humiliating activities state by state, along with harassing phone calls, threatening phone calls. So this report that I received was from May 15th. I'm willing to share the video footage with news reporters because some of it shares my address, so I don't want people knowing exactly where I reside at. So in the year 2000, I also filed a report. Let me go back. The case number for this case from May 15th is, let me see, she was when I took the report. First called the cops to do the report. Her number is 2927. And she was very, very sweet. Actually, according to the cop, he says in the video, that's his mom. So at the case number is 23C17455. Really sweet lady, really nice officer, but I'm finding it odd that my reports are blank. So in the year 2000, I had another case. I'm going to share some information on that. The officer's name is Gopal245, and the case number is 20C40592. So my report only has a one sentence report. It's just right here that I went into the lobby that I'd like to speak to an officer regarding suspicious person at Waterfront Park. Well, that is true, but there was more to that story. And the officer that called the police to do the report, his name is here. It's KELLIHER2415. Now, if someone was to talk to him as a reporter, they would find out that I stated a little bit more than that. And I shared an image of a guy ducked down behind a fence, which I'm almost 100% sure is the same officer which took my report. Not this officer that I just mentioned, but the Gopal. And I'm going to share with you what I was experiencing at the park. Just a brief. Okay, hold on a second. This is taking a while. Now, her name is Brandy Bram, and I have her tag, and I'm not going to share the videos because it'll bog this thing down while I'm using a screen recorder. But I'll just share a little clip about her. So any time that I would go to the park. It didn't matter if it was 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3:12. She would show up. And this went on for 3 years. And I went to police and told them that this woman's surveilling me. Gopal told me that it's a civil matter. He can't get that they cannot get involved. This is what's interesting. How does he know it's a civil matter? Unless someone has talked to him. So I've never been to this police department until year 2000, and I moved here from Texas complaining about harassment, and then this cop is saying my matter is civil upon getting there, and I'm sharing with this guy, the cop that's the intake to call the cops in to do the reports, Kellier 2415 on 12/22/2020, and he'll tell you there's more to my story than what this cop put down on here. So I'm being told my case was civil. So I'm assuming if my case is civil, I'm being told this state by state. My case is civil, but I'm being harassed. So first of all, when a cop tells you that, they're saying, okay, we can't help you. You're on your own. They're pretty much allowing whatever group is doing this to get away with it. So I've been harassed by veterans, and I have videos that show kids, people belittling me, and I'm just pulling up to watch the sunset, reading my Bible for a minute, taking a couple sips of water, and just leaving once the sun sets. And I've only had one encounter with this car right here, but this woman was parked directly across from that other woman. And I noticed they were like working together. And it's this National High School Scholars Association, something about Sheriff Association, and the local community college. So I'm assuming that maybe there's some type of contracting going on with some type of federal agency, because I had documented this same type of harassment in the state of Texas. So I'm not going to get into sharing the video clips. Let me see if I have something here. I'm about to share something a little short. I have some other video clips that actually have a whole hard drive just jam-packed. And you'll notice sometimes they'll just, park, and what they'll do is they may zoom in with the camera and just sit there. Or like I used to park there, and then she started parking there. And then she would sit in a chair facing directly towards, like, let's say my car is 50 feet away, looking right at me. And then anytime I arrived, I have videos where anytime I arrived, she arrives. And it was nonstop. I think actually this is the same video as the other one. But it was a repeated pattern. It didn't matter if I went at 11, 12, 10, 15. Actually, this video goes on for 3 minutes. So I'm not going to share this right here. I'm just going to exit out of this. So I went to the state attorney's office. Let me see if I have their card here. And it says Office of the State Attorney, Tavares, Florida. I went to the 4th floor. And this is what I shared with the lady, the secretary there, on May 19th. I went there, I would say around 3-something. It had been around 3:50 when I was there, and I looked around like 4:20, I believe. So they asked why I was there, and I had to use a file compressor just to compress this video, so that way it doesn't take up too much space. And this was in Leesburg, Florida. I got back to my car. I found this noose on my car, this Barbie doll with a noose, with some type of it looks like fake blood or ketchup, I believe, with the word spick. Well, I'm Hispanic, and I have shared proof in the past that my phone has been connected to an ISMI catcher, Stingray device. And I believe that the slander that I've experienced may have caused the wrong people to get involved in my targeting. So I shared this with the lady that was working at the front desk behind the glass. Once you go up to the go up 4 flights, she was the only lady working as a secretary. And I shared it with her. She was like, you may want to think about leaving. I'm like, I am. That's why I'm here. So I go to the state attorney's office, and I talked to them, and I wasn't recording. I thought I could trust these people. But what's really interesting here is that, let me go ahead and play it. The state attorney's office did not want to take, I shared with him the same video. They did not want me to provide a link. We went on for about 5 minutes trying to see if I can share a link with the state attorney. This is where I'm at. And I believe I'm going to share the piece of paper with the link. Here's the link. They did not want me to share that link. I told them that I'm I'm interested in victims' compensation due to harassment. I need to share this link. Here it is. I need to share this link with you guys because the police are not adding. Want me to share my link? This link? Report. So he says we can investigate police corruption. Let me go talk to the state attorney. So I decided to start recording when he comes out. Okay, let me go back. Base their activities, how they help me off a police report, which is blank. So I told them that's not going to help me. And I have video evidence they're not entering what I'm sharing on the police report. So this is going to be interesting because the guy's face turned red when I mentioned that I want to share a link, and he's like... Now, in the past, I have shared video footage, and I've told people that I've been harassed by Sheriff Association members. I've been to the sheriff's office here twice in the town that I live in, and they just send my information to the police to contact me when I'm trying to talk to the sheriff. So I find this really interesting. And then also when I first moved here, the first few years also, I documented odd encounters with Florida Sheriff Association members. Now, I live in the Orlando metro area, but these cops were from the Tampa area, along with some people that dress pretty clandestine. So I don't understand why they'd want me to go to a sheriff's office if they're in charge of prosecuting crimes and investigating crimes. He told me that they actually investigate police corruption. Well, let me show you something here. Because they're wanting me to go to the sheriff's office or the FDLE. Well, the FDLE is an option, but hold on a second. I think my cell phone is bogged down because I'm using a screen recorder. But Department of Justice is supposed to investigate. Okay, now it's loading up. They are supposed to investigate police corruption. So if someone's complaining about something and the reports are not there, and that prevents DOJ from being able to conduct an investigation or provide a victim funds to relocate, then something's not right. Police misconduct here. This is from justice.gov. This law makes it unlawful for state or local law enforcement officers to engage in a pattern or practice of conduct that deprives a person of rights protected by the Constitution. So if Department of Justice, and I'm at the state attorney's office, and I'm also considered disabled. I was struck by a young girl, and I have quada equini. So I am legally disabled, and I'm being denied an investigation. Well, they're going to investigate my stuff, but they're going to base what I get, victims' compensation, off a police report that is blank. And I repeatedly tell them that, and I was polite. I never raised my voice. I'm not a loud talker. People that know me know I hate loud music, loud talking. I'm being very respectful. And I showed them a video of what I experienced with the noose and all that. I'm freaked out, And I shared with them proof that I do have PTSD, hyperventilation syndrome, and anxiety. So I have diagnoses for this. See here, I have PTSD and anxiety. Hopefully it's coming out. I don't know if it's showing, but I'm using a tiny little screen recorder. Hyperventilation syndrome. And I'm trying to cover my personal information here, like my date of birth, PTSD. So I'm eligible for victims' compensation. So let's go here to... Let me just go ahead and play the video. And he's like... Oh. Now this is the deputy. He wears a badge for the state attorney. And
on to part of investigation division. So what typically the law enforcement misconduct that's handled by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement?
Okay, FDLE.
Yeah. Have you talked to them at all?
In the past, I've sent my reports that I've sent to the police here, to the FDLE.
Now, I have filed many reports with the FDLE. I've never gotten a response back. They're actually, I think, tied to the fusion centers, not saying anything bad about them. I'm sure they want to protect officers, too, from being sued. So why should I go to the FDLE? It doesn't make any sense. Let me go over here to...
the victim, do they have to actually go through the FDLE, or can they go through a victim's advocate organization to see about getting help?
So the sheriff's office, I believe, has a general victims advocate.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if you talked to them.
Now, I'm just playing along because I've already told these people I was recording prior, and then my camera got folded up. I had to actually, what do you call this thing? Compress, like just clean out my phone. I had to use one of these phone cleaners to clean it out so that way I could actually get some more space. But I'm just playing along. I don't want to go to the sheriffs. I don't want to go to the police. I already have police reports. And they're going to base their victims' compensation on blank police reports that don't have no evidence, that do not have police reports. These reports just show what the intake person is saying, not what the police. So the police put nothing on there. So...
But that's someone that you can talk to. And they also do obviously investigate. They have jurisdiction over this, over the...
Oh, so I can actually go to them and they might be able to help me then?
Yeah,
Okay.
Like I said, we're not an investigative agency.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, we just, like I said, law enforcement will collect evidence for us. They will use the evidence, make a determination, they'll go out there and file a warrant, make an arrest.
They are essentially investigators, because when you go to victims' compensation, the person that came out was like a deputy, and they told me that they investigate. So that way you can actually get victims' compensation. So they didn't want to see the link after sharing a picture of a Barbie doll in a noose. They don't want to see more footage. They just want to base my victims' compensation off sheriffs and police, which are providing blank reports. Does that make any sense? And then I also have a case with in Leesburg, Florida. Here, let me see. The case number is... Actually, I don't want to share this because it has my house address on here. But I'll just say this, that the report was filed on 6/08/2022, and it says last known secure 04/04/2022 with the Leesburg Police Department. And I was having encounters where these people, they drove in black and white vehicles. They looked pretty clandestine. And they would just exit their vehicle, walk up to me, whistle, then suddenly leave. I find that really weird. And it was happening quite a bit. And they came like a caravan. And it happened at a thrift store. And I actually seen the guy parked next to my vehicle, walk in the store. He looks at nothing. He walks right up to me, whistles, and then walks right out and leaves. So I've experienced that thousands of times. So let me go back over here.
Investigation division. So what?
Okay, now I'm at the state attorney's office.
Typically, the law enforcement misconduct that's handled by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement.
Okay, FDLE.
Yeah. Have you talked to them at all?
In the past, I've sent my reports that I've sent to the police.
You can tell the guy's voice. You can hear him kind of like sounding like he's nervous. And I'm not a tough guy. I'm not like a dangerous person. I'm dressed here with my garden clothes. I'm about to go garden. Very, very polite. And the guy did not want to see the link.
Here to the FDLE. Actually, they have more reports on me because I trust them more than the police department.
Right. That's what I would... Those...
I cannot share, though. Is there any way that counseling or relocate, if you guys strictly go by the report, though, there'll be nothing. So the sheriff's department, FDLE, has never responded back. And I have snapshots. I have multiple case numbers. But even if it's not for an investigation for a misconduct, respond back.
Okay.
So they were, I don't know if it's because they work with law enforcement, blue wall signs perhaps, I don't know. So if I cannot share, though, is there any way that if I share the link, you guys can actually just look at it with my case, and I can share the file with the police officer, even if it's not for an investigation for misconduct, just to show that I went and that I do have a case. Because if you base it on that, I won't get victims' compensation. But if you see my evidence that I have, and I don't really want to make it about, a complaint. I don't want to file a complaint on police. I just want to be able to present that I have gone to police and that they didn't put what I shared on paper.
Yeah.
Because without that, if I go to the FDLE and make a big fuss of it, then what can happen is that I can probably anger some people in the community, and I'll probably get ran out of there.
Well, the FDLE's in Tallahassee, so they're not... they are in charge of the entire state.
Yeah.
So, like I said, our office doesn't really, if there's an investigation or misconduct for, law enforcement agency,
Yeah.
it's really FDL. We really don't have any ability to investigate that.
So if the victim is like being harassed.
So we went over this and over. So the guy doesn't want to see the link, even though I shared with him a video of the dollar noose. He doesn't want to see the link. So they just want to base their investigation on this. And another guy came out, heavy-set, big guy, older guy, I would say, maybe in his early 60s, with the gun on his side and with the badge, and he was bright red. Because when I had talked to him at first, the guy had told me, he's a deputy in charge of victims, I guess, advocacy, that does investigations. He said that they do investigate police misconduct. So let me make sure my battery's not, this video is still going. Okay. So they investigate police misconduct. But then he says, I'll go talk to the state attorney, see what we can do. And like I told him that if you base reports on this, there'll be nothing. That can you guys just look at the video proof that I have? I have multiple videos which share that I'm talking to police there, and that way I can not have to deal with police. Because part of my problem, I think, is potentially police not really conducting an appropriate investigation and not communicating with me the first time I tried to seek help in 2000. So the state attorney, they are obligated to investigate stuff like that. If I shove someone being hanged and you say contact the FDLE, doesn't that seem odd? I know it's not the same thing, but it's a similar situation.